Okay, so now we're going to put on a chuck. It can be, usually I would put this on a rusty orange. Thank you very much. Kind of looks like mine.
No, it's not bad.
Only kidding. Now I'm going to put the chuck on first because I don't want to deal with the post, but I'm not going to go past this halfway point. By the way, I did add this to my video called Tying Jack's Favorites because it wasn't in the one I had called Jack's Newest. So I felt that this fly had to be in it. So I put it in there, but I didn't put it on the cover. And the one I just tied is also in there. Here you're going to cut this down. You're not going to have a great big long chuck on it. Okay, now we're going to put the wing in. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about thicknesses of foam. They're all different. And if you buy foam from Michael, which there's nothing wrong with doing, just make sure that you get the 2 millimeter. Now, if you can see that right here, one has more density than the other. Can you see that? So you want to be very aware by feel, you know, what kind of foam. If it's very slick, you don't want it because it's got heat on it. It closes it down. You'd think it would work, but it won't absorb the float. That little bit of, if you can see it, openings will absorb the float. There's some really good sprays out there that work really good if they're almost pure silicone. If they get a lot of oil in it, it doesn't work good. Sprays are really good. There was one by that company that does all the backpacks and then packs that was really good if you can find that. Something Fish Pond. They had one that was for foam, and if you can find that, it's really good. Other than that, Aqua. Well, I use, you know, Gerke's Gink. I helped him fill the first 2,000 bottles. He got a 50-gallon makeup remover, and we put them in there. One of the greatest profit schemes in the history of business. He sat there and he heated it up, and we poured it in those little things. Gerke's Gink, that's all it is, makeup remover. But Aqua has he was good at chemicals, so good he had got cancer from it.
It killed him.
Killed him. But he figured the cement to get the graphite in the wings for the fighter. So by 42 he's retired. By 50 he was dead from it. But he did figure out a good way to keep Aqua from melting quite as bad. Notice I'm cutting this, and you've got to take into consideration what size you're going to tie. This is at 18. You want to make sure you get it in the middle and you tie it down. Experience is going to dictate. You want to cut it as close as you can because you want to have a taper in that. Make sure, do you see the hook there? Can you all see that? If you're against the eye, you're in trouble. Now, watch the bobbin. I go around, I hammer this in all my DVDs about how you do a parachute. I am not going like this. I'm going forward, pushing, and you can literally build a post out of 2 strands of marabou if you do it this way. Now you got to come up front. Roman loved this. He really was a fly tyer. He liked all these little things that I did. Back and forth like this. I'm a great believer in using the lightest thread and making lots of wraps. Okay. Now, this is where you need the superfine is about literally the only dubbing that you can really, when you get down, I can fudge a little bit on this, but there is some pretty neat stuff that both Superfly and Wapsi are doing, where they're chopping up antron and recutting it until they get it down to a fine. And it can be used. But to me, quite frankly, the only one to use is your superfine, and I'll show you why as soon as I find some. And it's the tapering that you can get from it. It is incredible. Always in the last one. Why not? Phil?
No, I don't have superfine, I guarantee
Got
that.
anything close to it?
Not even close.
No, I'm gonna go to my bag. Time out, I'm gonna go to my bag, but I know where some is. There's a quality that superfine has that's different than any other dubbing, is a long continuous fiber. And the first thing that Nat Brumley, did you meet him? He was the first thing, the guy is a specialist in tiny flies for Silver Creek. Anybody here fish Silver Creek? It's a really difficult strain. And he was said the same thing that I'm telling you when he said the only material to use is superfine. Right here. Now, do I have the right color? No. Boy, I got the world covered with diamond dub. Alright, so let me shoot a light color. Oh. Tomorrow, by the way, when we do our European nymphing, I brought 6 boxes of European nymphs. You can see that here. The woven-bodied nymphs. And they will go with the DVD, so we'll be slipping them in. So I'll have those for you in the morning if you want to have some true European nymphs that are woven. This, by the way, is the key to it, which is an ad is a very heavy nymph. I'll pass these around for you guys to look at while you're listening to my BS. The heavier fly is the anchor nymph. Oh, wait a minute, back.
Sorry. Oh, they're empty.
You're going to get one of these. I got one for you, you little weasel, you.
You had some of the condom ones in there?
No.
Did you hear Pete's story about that?
I'm afraid to
Pete
ask.
Erickson's a mutual friend of ours, and Laddie's worm is tied with sheet latex from a pink condom. He and his buddy in Boise are in a men's washroom in a gay bar, excitedly buying condoms. I got a pink one. And then they realized where they were, and all the new friends they had made.
All right. We're not going to put this on, but I'm going to show you how. Oh, one thing I am going to do is you can rib this, and you can rib it with any kind of flashy material, and it gives a little flash to you. Remember I said that the blue always have a natural sheen to them? The problem is when you start using superfine, you take that away. So you can keep it thinner by adding a little bit of either crystal flash or flashaboo, anything that's got a little flash to it. The thinner, the better. Okay, now let's take a look at this, and then actually I'm going to take it off and then put on. Well, actually that's not too bad. That's a little too light olive, but we can still use it. It's the technique that we're looking for. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. hopefully the camera can pick this up, but I'm going to pull it down like this. If you try to take Superfine, that's why it's never sold very well, because people try to dub it a little bit at a time like they do. Now watch. This Nate Brumley does a great job on his. He does lots of 24s and 26s for silver green. Look how thin that is. And you might say, why don't I do just thread? Well, you know, you certainly could, but the problem is you build up a body that's not going to absorb any floatant. Notice I'm coming up here and building that up, going around the post, and then watch what happens here. We add some of that in, it reinforces the body against those big Brown's teeth. All you want is just a little flash in there. Now we're ready to finish it off. This is really a fast fly. Of course, it's a fast fly when you have everything in front of you and you're not talking to a bunch of people and you're not 64. Okay, now on hackle, blue olive, the most done, you know, olive done, olive grizzly, dark grizzly. I don't really think it. I'm just as happy with about any color. This is the real true color right there. It's harder than hell to find any done anymore, especially with women running around in their hair.
That fad's over with already.
What's that?
That fad's over with already.
Yeah, it is in the U.S., but it's still going in Europe. This is just going to be fine right here. See that color? I mean, I could go find some grizzly. I could find it done if I have to, but you know, this is just going to be fine. I don't think you should get caught up on whether it's done or whatever. I think the most important thing is you have something that's going to hold that fly up, and this will work just fine. We'll work on the technique here. You can get these down now with the fad being over, down to 24 on saddle without any problem. Okay. We're going to take it from the other side. You can see right here, and I'm going to tie it in to the post. Now, can I have your hackle pliers back? Where's that fly?
Oh, it's being passed.
That's right. I don't need it, but I'm going to show you with the hackle pliers what you could do. You might say, wait a minute. Why are you going this way and not the other way? The way I do it is I come around like this, pull up, and then come under. And I'm just used to wrapping hackle towards me. That this works just fine. With the hackle pliers, it's even easier. Notice that my scissors are hardly open at all. I'm just going in here. Oh, come on, you. These days you don't throw it down the floor like that. Oh.
Have all the girls downstairs up here running around the floor trying to find it.
You know, I should have known last year when I got done with the fly tying. All the kids are up there picking up everything.
Don't you remember Cabela's? That's all they wanted.
Oh, you weren't there last year at the Boise show. They were all up there picking up everything. It was in the main hall, and they're picking up all the tackles. All right. There we go. Like I said, it's about as sure a bet as it is. It is very simple. underneath here, as you can see, there's not a lot, but this will float. You can use orange, white, tan, whatever color, a little cockeye, but that works just great. And what this will do is it'll hold up another, just right on the surface. So I have yet, if they're on the pseudochlorians, which are size 20 to 28, and believe me, you can tie them with that long hackle like this. The rotary hackle pliers will help you a little bit better. But this will be a fly, it's 100%er. I can't remember not being able to take a fish on it. Brad Beefus' microbaits, it's in the Randall Kaufman's book out there, but it's also on their website. If you want to take another look at it in my tying thing, I'll pass this around. The body should be a little darker, but that's the fly. You can use, of course, as for the shuck, I use the rusty brown. We'll use your other hackle plier.